He was once the greatest hope for Chinese fans, only to fall into the abyss of match-fixing. Nailed to the pillar of shame in sports, he became an amateur player with nothing left, then completed the most insane redemption in history through desperate repentance. The World Snooker Championship, a title that even a great like Ding Junhui sought for half his life, but could never obtain, became the testament to his rebirth after the ban. The fallen prodigy plunged Chinese snooker into its darkest moment, then used 600 days of penance to write a new era in a blood-soaked dawn. Zhao Xintong, for the first time, put China on top of the world. December 6, 2021, the prodigious young man, Zhao Xintong, stormed into the final of the UK Snooker Championship and defeated Bressel with a dominant 1-0-5 advantage, clinching the first ranking title of his career. This victory not only made him the youngest UK champion in nearly a decade, and after Ding Junhui, the second Chinese player, but also the first player born in the 90 seconds in history to win one of the 3 major tournaments. That year, Zhao Xintong was 24 years old. The starlight twinkling from the Barbican Center's dome seemed to illuminate the path to his future. Perhaps even he himself firmly believed it. After the match, Zhao Xintong posted on Weibo, "On this journey, great expectations were once placed on me, but I also stumbled many times at the threshold of opportunity. This time, I stood firm and finally lifted the championship trophy." Indeed, bearing the title of a prodigy, to get to this day, the road was full of hardships. Zhao Xintong, born in 1997, came from a medical family. His father was the deputy director of a hospital in Shenzhen, and his mother was a nurse. The family was well off, enough to pave a stable path in life for him. But when he made his first shot at the snooker table, his destiny had quietly turned towards a different constellation. April 3, 2005, was Zhao Xintong's 8th birthday. But what captivated him most that day wasn't the exquisite gifts or the delicious birthday cake, but a match on television. The final of the China Open snooker tournament, Chinese prodigy Ding Junhui, just after his 18th birthday, defeated the king of billiards, Stephen Hendry, and won the first world professional ranking title of his career, which was also China's first ever ranking title, a career-defining match. Witnessing that glorious moment, Zhao Xintong also dreamed, "If I were the one standing on that glorious podium, what would that feel like?" Then, he resolutely told his father, "Dad, I want to learn this sport." Although his parents hoped for his success, they wished even more for their son to have a happy childhood, so a room in their house was quickly converted into a snooker room. That standard snooker table also became the starting point of Zhao Xintong's journey to conquer the world. After studying under Ding Junhui's first coach, Mr. Wu Wenzhong, and joining a snooker academy in 2013, the talent displayed by this left-handed young man earned everyone's recognition. And his 140-point break at the Shenzhen Open led O'Sullivan to lavish praise on his talent, calling it far beyond his peers. But unproven talent is just an empty check. The professional dream seemed just a step away. He twice vied for the amateur championship but failed both times. By 2016, he finally turned professional, but he made no waves in the quiet world of snooker. Instead, he himself sank into silence. In his first 4 years as a professional, 4 years, despite continuously competing in tournaments and having sporadically defeated a few top players, the news reports about him were mostly about failing to reach the quarterfinals, eliminated in the round of 16, unable to crack the top 8. In 2018, he even suffered the misery of relegation. Suddenly, not only did talk of him becoming mediocre spring up everywhere, but some also began to question if his style was flashy but impractical. All style and no substance. Under immense pressure, Zhao Xintong once considered abandoning his left-handed style. But if there is a shadow behind a person, then there must be light in front of them. Some people like to dwell on the shape of the shadow, but Zhao Xintong preferred to chase the light. Immediately after being relegated, it took him only 1 month to fight his way back to the professional tour through qualifiers, and at the China Championship that year, he stormed all the way to the semifinals, making everyone once again see the potential and resilience in his character. Although after this brief flash of brilliance, he still lost more than he won, but those dark years also made Zhao Xintong focus more on himself, honing his criticized weaknesses into a tight defensive game and sharpening his not-quite-lethal long pots into a deadly, hidden blade. And then at the UK Championship, what did he show the world? It was China speed. In the second round against the Pachaya, a leading Zhao Xintong missed 2 match points, but in the deciding frame, he calmly potted the decisive black ball, a final, killing blow. In the third round against Higgins, his opponent had 2 match points, and with his back against the wall, trailing 3-5, he won 3 consecutive frames, tying the score, and staged a comeback in the deciding frame. After a spectacular escape, Zhao Xintong advanced straight to the final. The opponent broke, the cue ball hit the pack of reds. A very daring Zhao Xintong unexpectedly attempted a long pot, sinking the red ball cleanly, and positioned for the black. Brisel had no chance to turn the tables. This championship was the most deserving reward for the young man's relentless efforts. In the third round of the German Masters, he destroyed the young talent Yan Bingtao with a storm of aggressive play, winning 9-0, and rose to 6th in the world rankings. In a sport long dominated by the British, the Chinese rocket was soaring. The original rocket, O'Sullivan, was also full of praise. Expressing his admiration, "I think he's our Federer. I've never seen a more talented player than him. If he just focuses his entire mind on snooker, I have no doubt he can win every championship." But no one expected that O'Sullivan's sincere praise would become a fateful curse, setting a trap for him at the peak of his career. And Zhao Xintong, completely unguarded, walked right into it. On June 6, 2023, the World Snooker Tour released a 58-page report accusing 10 Chinese players of match-fixing and illegal betting. Zhao Xintong, ranked 9th in the world, was on the list, although his offense was the least severe and his sentence was reduced for cooperating with the investigation. The price for his misstep was still a 20-month ban from the sport. At 25, in his prime, he was cast into the abyss, his halo shattered into pieces. Even more seriously, this rare, large-scale match-fixing scandal not only became the darkest chapter in Chinese snooker history, causing the world to view Chinese players differently, but it also nearly wiped out an entire generation of the country's young talent. Chinese snooker suffered a heavy blow, entering its darkest moment. In his apology, Zhao Xintong, ashamed for disgracing his country's snooker, promised to prove himself through his performance and return to the arena with a better image. But would he get another chance? Fortunately, the Chinese contingent had not been completely wiped out, and they did not give up. Veteran Ding Junhui, mid-generation players like Zhang Anda, and rookie Si Jiahui were still striving on the international stage to rebuild the image of Chinese players. Si Jiahui even reached the semi-finals of the World Championship at one point, and that gave Zhao Xintong the greatest confidence and comfort. In September 2024, after his ban ended, Zhao Xintong lost his professional status. To return to the professional tour, he could only compete as an amateur, participating in the Q Tour series. The Q Tour, a gathering place for young players aspiring to turn professional, and relegated professionals. But only the top-ranked player after 7 tournaments could earn a direct spot. Therefore, every match was a do-or-die battle. Despite being away from the arena for nearly 2 years, during those 600 days and nights in the shadows, Zhao Xintong never slacked off. This man, who had once exiled himself, was determined not to abandon the stage for redemption and had to use his performance to reclaim his lost glory. On his return, Zhao Xintong exploded with 2 147 seconds and 12 century breaks, amassing an unbeaten streak of 32 consecutive wins, sweeping through every tournament. After winning 4 consecutive championships, his ranking points left the second-place player far behind. He not only secured his professional tour card early, but also received a wild card entry to the World Championship. This title is not only worth £500,000, but is also the highest honor every player covets. But this title has seemingly been the exclusive domain of players from the United Kingdom. In the last 60 years, the championship has only gone to a non-British player 4 times. As for Asia, only Ding Junhui had ever reached the final. The Crucible Theatre is not just the temple of snooker, but also its most impenetrable fortress. But it was under the spotlights of this theater that Zhao Xintong transformed into a lone hero, competing as an amateur to write the most insane comeback saga. 4 qualifying rounds, he exploded with 12 century breaks, undefeated, marching into the main draw with his head held high. In the first round, he crushed his opponent 1-0-4, last year's runner-up, Jack Jones. In the second round, he won the All-Chinese Derby 1-3-1-0, then annihilated Wakelin, setting a record for the best performance by an amateur, and advanced to the semi-finals. He would face snooker's number 1, his mentor and friend, the 7-time world champion O'Sullivan. The battle lines were drawn, ignited in a tense first session that ended 4-4. It seemed the legend was still in form, but the world number 1 completely collapsed before Zhao Xintong's youthful storm. 57, 112, 82, 57, 67, 115. Zhao Xintong, who consistently scored high with a break of 87, with an unbelievable 8-0 run, completely extinguished the competitive rhythm that the Rocket prided himself on. The last time O'Sullivan was down 0-8 here was way back in the distant year of 2006. The final score was set at 177. The moment Zhao Xintong entered O'Sullivan's dressing room, the mentor and student embraced. The ups, downs, and redemption painted the passing of an era. At 28 years and 30 days old, Zhao Xintong surpassed Ding Junhui, becoming the youngest Chinese player to reach the final. In this best-of-35 showdown, another member of the class of '92, Mark Williams, became the final challenge on his path to the throne. Facing a veteran 22 years, his senior, Zhao Xintong started with a dominant 7-1 lead, landing a preemptive strike on his opponent. Even as the Welsh potting machine furiously counterattacked, he remained calm. In the 16th frame, Williams took the lead with a 63-point break, but Zhao Xintong gave him no further chances. With a 71-point break, he cleared the table and completed a spectacular comeback, solidifying an 1-1-6 lead after the second session. After a day of rest, Zhao Xintong returned like a storm, completely dominating the match. He continuously unleashed incredible long pots, successfully potting 2 reds near the cushion, extending the score to 1-7-8, giving himself 10 championship points. Entering the final stage under a light dusting of falling chalk, Zhao Xintong finished the match with an 87-point break, rendering the comeback king's effort of winning 4 straight frames futile. 9 matches, 111 frames won, scoring 18 century breaks, with a final score of 1-8, 1-2. This is the first world championship that China and all of Asia had awaited for 30 years. It was also the first time in history that an amateur player was crowned king. The threshold that Ding Junhui crossed years ago became the racetrack for the next generation. And today, a Chinese player has finally crossed the finish line on that track. From the Q Tour to the World Championship, Zhao Xintong, with a wild card entry, delivered a performance that felt like a cheat code. A mortal bearing the shame of a ban, who, with just a cue, burned down the barriers of fate. 10 years of hardship could not cool his burning passion. Crushing O'Sullivan's dynasty, overwhelming Williams' resistance, the class of '92 that once overshadowed an entire era seemed fated to end at his hands. The seemingly impregnable fortress of the Crucible witnessed the red flag fly for the first time. All the abysses that once defined him became steps to reach the stars. The world champion, Doherty said, if Ding Junhui was the pioneer of Chinese snooker, 10 years ago, Zhao Xintong confessed in a CCTV documentary, my childhood goal was to become someone like Ding Junhui. 10 years later, he followed in Ding Junhai's footsteps to complete his tribute and surpass his idol while becoming a beacon for the next generation. He no longer needs to become anyone else, just the best version of Zhao Xintong.